morning. I'm standing up here this morning looking around and I'm watching people get reacquainted and I'm seeing some handshaking. I've actually seen a couple of hugs. And I'm quite certain I can speak for everyone here when I say how wonderful it is to be back on the Common again. My name is Rita Meinskow. I'm Air Force veteran and chair of the Walpole Veteran Services Committee. And on behalf of the Walpole Veteran Services Committee and your Walpole Veteran Service Officer, I'd like to thank you for coming out for this year's Memorial Day observance. Before we begin, I would like to make a couple of announcements. Many of you here, if not all of you, are familiar with John Cogan. John has been our Veteran Service Officer for 10 years. Last year, he made the decision to step down from his role, and at the conclusion of today's observance, I would like to ask everyone to remain just a few moments longer so we can properly acknowledge him for his 10 years of dedicated service. That being said, I would like to introduce to you your new Walpole Veteran Service Officer, Mr. Mark Bryson. Mark is a Navy veteran, having served active duty from 1991 to 1995 as a heavy-duty equipment mechanic, achieving the rank of third-class petty officer. Prior to accepting his role as the Veteran Service Officer, he continued to serve our veterans and is working for the Department of Career Services as a Veteran Employment Representative. Mark has literally hit the ground running since moving into this new position, and we would like to thank him for his service to our country and for his service to our veterans as he moves forward in his new role. So please welcome Mark Bryson.
Good morning, everyone. I am Mark Bryson, Veteran Service Officer for the town of Walpole. Senator Feeney, Representative Phillips, Chair Paul McMurtry, members of the Board of Selectmen, Town Administrator Jim Johnson, and Assistant Administrator Patrick Shields, veterans, family, and residents of Walpole, welcome to today's Memorial Day observance. The half-staff position represents the more than 1 million men and women who gave their lives in their service to the country. At noon, their memory is raised by the living, resolved not to let their sacrifice be in vain, but to rise up in their stead and continue to fight for liberty and justice for all. And now, for the invocation presented by David Fiera, United States Marine Corps veteran and Veteran Committee member.
Hello, thank you for being here. We have gathered here today in the town of Walpole to remember all the men and women that have died in service to country and the direct impact it has had on this town for the loss of its citizens. We admire them for their courage in the face of great odds as we remember their sacrifices and those of their families and friends with deep gratitude. It is often heard that freedom is not free, that it comes at a price of those that gave their all. I honestly believe that there is far more to that cliche in what our freedom is and how it is safeguarded. The cost in lives is real and undeniable. It is the foundation that we, you and I, have a responsibility to, and it must be built upon. If we are to preserve our freedoms and to sacrifice prices that run deep in blood, our freedom, just like everything else, has a positive and negative side. And now more than ever, we need to understand that our role is a critical component in its preservation. If not, those that we honor today have died in vain. May we have the courage and fortitude to work for the common good of all and be prudent when exercising our individual rights so that we build upon the positive side of freedom. Today is Memorial Day. Please do not thank me, a veteran, on this solemn day of remembrance of those that gave their all. I deserve none. Let us therefore honor those who died in service to country by committing ourselves to being peacemakers. May we build bridges rather than walls, so that our children and children's children will not face the prospect of having to grieve the loss of their loved ones, and that freedom may not only ring, but be of such a resounding sound that encompasses all that is good. Let us therefore offer our prayers in remembrance and of peace. Heavenly Father, grant us wisdom in our dealings with each other, so that the sacrifices that have been made on behalf of those that we honor today bear fruit that all can partake in. Thank you for what you have done for us through your Son, that we may also partake in your grace. In Jesus' name, amen.
Will you please welcome to the podium Rich McCarthy, Air Force veteran and Veterans Committee member, for the reading of the proclamation.
Good morning. Whereas while the nation is still stiff recording from horrors of the Civil War, people in the cities and towns across the gathered to honor the Union of Confederate soldiers who have given their lives celebrating the first Decoration Day. And whereas after World War I, the nation came together again to honor those who had fallen in the service of their country, renamed Memorial Day. The last Monday of May is when people remember and honor the memory of all men and women who fought and died in all American wars and conflicts. And whereas throughout the country, history, thousands of Massachusetts citizens have fought their war in confidence to defend our safety and way of life. And whereas the legacy of patriotism and dedication to the country as an inspiration to all Americans. Whereas it is appropriate that all Massachusetts citizens remember the bravery of those who gave their lives so that their sacrifices serve as a reminder to the cost of freedom. Therefore, I, Charles D. Baker, Governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, do hereby proclaim May 31st, 2021 to be Memorial Day, and urge that all citizens of the Commonwealth take to organize to event and participate fitness and other observances, fittingly in its observances. Given the Executive Chamber in Boston this first day of May, the year 2021, and independence of the United States of America, 244th. Signed by His Excellency Charles D. Baker, Governor of the Commonwealth, and Lieutenant Governor of the Commonwealth, Kevin E. Pilato. God save the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Thank you.
Okay. Will you please join the Boy Scouts for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the performance of the National Anthem sung by Jenny Cagney. United States of America, to the republic which stands
please welcome to the podium for her rendition of the national anthem, Jean Gagne.
Broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ceremonial, we're ready.
Would you please welcome to the podium Chair Paul McMurtry.
Good afternoon. Today we come together as we do each Memorial Day, indebted as a community, a commonwealth, and a country to respectfully pay tribute and reverence to the courageous men and women who have fallen in defense of our nation wearing the uniform of our country. And I'm honored to be here with you along with Senator Feeney and Representative Phillips, our select board members, our Assistant Town Administrator, Patrick Shield, as well as any Gold Star family members amongst us, our police and fire honor guards and members of the military. And I'd like to publicly acknowledge for the first time our new VSO, Mark Bryson, and thank him for his dutifully organizing today's ceremony along with Rita and the committee. And even as we emerge from a global pandemic, the town of Walpole, as it always has, acknowledges the service and sacrifice of fallen soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines, and the unimaginable loss to their families. And each of us lives freely because of the selflessness and ultimate sacrifice of those brave men and women. And today, we pause to reflect and remember. This session, I have had the distinction of being appointed to the chair of the Committee on Veterans and Federal Affairs by Speaker Mariano. I'm working alongside Senator Feeney and Representative Phillips and all our colleagues in the legislature. Massachusetts will continue to prioritize, recognize, and honor all those who have served in the United States military, both living and deceased. And as our long weekend continues and we set off today to perhaps socialize with family and friends, let us take time to reflect, even for a moment, on the true meaning of Memorial Day, and further take the opportunity to share our thoughts and reflections with those we encounter. By doing so, not only will give one another an opportunity to learn, but most importantly, will remind each other of our obligation to remember. And it is only with those moments of reflection and remembrance that the lives of our fallen service members will have not been lost in vain. As state representative, I'm most humbled to participate in today's meaningful ceremony and service of remembrance. Thank you all for being here today, and thank you for honoring those who have laid down their lives for us. We are a better nation, and Walpole is a better community for it. May God bless all of our fallen service members. God bless the town of Walpole, and God bless the United States of America.
Thank you, Chair McMurtry. Thank you for your comments. I'd like to introduce to you, coming up next is retired Army Colonel Bob Notch. Retired Colonel Bob Notch is actually Director of Veterans Programs and Services at Bright Marine. He's been there since January 2017. Retired Army Colonel Bob Notch actually has 27 years of active federal service, 12 years active Army, and 15 years Army Reserve. He holds a master's degree from Kansas State University and a bachelor's degree from the United States Military Academy. He also completed a National Security Fellowship at the Harvard John F. Kennedy School of Government and the Army Senior Leader Seminar. Bob is a trained UH-60 Black Hawk pilot, organization interrogator, developer, emergency manager, and operation research system analyst. He commanded at the battalion company levels and served on both the Army staff and the Joint Staff. His final assignment in the Army was Director, Army Reserve General, Officer Management. In addition to his role of building a veteran network community at Bright Marine, Bob is president of Veterans Collaborative, co-chair of our Community Salutes, Eastern Massachusetts Planning Committee, and president of the South Shore chapter of Military Officers Association of America. I'd like to bring to the podium retired Colonel Robert Notch.
Good afternoon. Chairman McMurtry, Representative Phillips, folks from Walpole, thank you for having me here today. I also want to thank the city leadership and the Veteran Services Committee and Mark Bryson for inviting me to speak today. I'm honored to be here. I want to make special mention of the Gold Star families that may be with us today. Over the years, I've had the solemn responsibility to notify families of their loss, to meet a flag-draped coffin at an airport and guide a family through an Army bureaucracy to settle personal affairs, and to present a folded flag to a parent or a spouse on behalf of the President and a grateful nation. No one will know your personal loss, but I hope there is some comfort in knowing that we recognize that your loved one allows us to live our lives today. Today we remember and honor. I think back to the effort and sacrifice of the families of Massachusetts who joined in the effort to declare independence from England and start a new country, a country of, by, and for the people. From then to now, Massachusetts remembers their own and that have fallen in military service. The 37,342 individuals have given their lives in establishing and preserving the blessings of liberty for all of us. I feel privileged to be here in Massachusetts, to walk within that history, and to be part of a statewide community that cares enough to know that number, that ever-changing number. Memorial Day, originally recognized as Decoration Day following the Civil War in the late 1860s, was a time in the spring when communities would place flowers and recite prayers for the countless fallen soldiers. Memorial Day was declared a national holiday in 1971 specifically set aside to honor those who have lost their lives while serving in the U.S. military. I recount this as a reminder of what today is meant to be. Over the years, we see and hear mixed messages, and we have our own mixed emotions about this day. I thought I'd take a moment and share some reflections on this, and maybe some of those will connect with you. Memorial Day commonly signifies the beginning of summer. Many celebrate the time away and enjoying it with friends and family. We may hear the words, Happy Memorial Day, and somehow it gives us pause and maybe even rings shallow. But we should enjoy the beginning of summer, especially this year, the lifting of COVID restrictions. But within that, I ask that we also find the time on this day to remember the fallen. Freedom for all of us to give our lives in the pursuit of happiness is exactly why those we honor today were serving. If they were here, I think many of them would join us. We also sometimes hear confusion between Memorial Day and Veterans Day. I gently remind people of the difference between the two, one for those we lost and one for those still with us. Yet as a veteran serving veterans, I say that any day is a great day to recognize and thank a veteran. Today, that veteran may be thinking of a friend or family member that they lost. Let a listening ear be your thank you for your service today. I've also wondered, who do we honor? Just those who fell in combat? Those that we lost during training? Both fall within the definition of the day. But how about the veterans who we lost years after they have served? I say we find a way to honor and remember those we lost while serving and those who we lost after they served. Remember and honor. Remember, there are many ways to do this individually, but a community that remembers and honors is special. You are here. You get it. This is powerful. It says that this community is grateful for what they have been given, so they may continue to live in a country granting them the individual rights and freedom to exercise those rights. It is an acknowledgement by friends and neighbors that they understand and appreciate the risk and sacrifice of the 1% that are currently serving. It provides an unstated support to Gold Star families that their loss is recognized and they do not have to carry it alone. Remember those friends and family that served for all of us and alongside some of us. Over a 27-year Army career, I've lost several, and this day is a specific opportunity for me to remember them. I share a few of them with you now and ask that you think of those you may have lost. Cadet John Kilfeather died in training accident at Northern Warfare School, August 3rd, 1987. First Lieutenant Donnie Tiller, shot down in a Black Hawk helicopter during the Persian Gulf War, February 27, 1991. Lieutenant Colonel Paul Finken, killed in combat operations, Operation Iraqi Freedom, November 2nd, 2006. Major retired Scott Vandenbroek succumbed to cancer. Ralph Notch, my dad, and Ralph Notch, my brother, both Navy veterans. Remember the cost of war. As you notice the flags next to headstones or those placed in flag gardens, know that they represent one or more individuals who placed our lives ahead of their own. Let them be a reminder that we should use all means of government to resolve conflicts, and that military action is always a last resort. Remember and honor. Honor. How can we honor them in their sacrifice? I start with the Oath of Enlistment. I do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I will obey the orders of the President of the United States and the orders of the officers appointed over me, according to the regulations and the Uniform Code of Military Justice, so help me God. Every military service member serving today, every veteran in this audience, and every person under each headstone marked with a medallion and a flag who are remembered today made this oath or a very similar oath when they started their service. Each of us knew, if only in the back of our minds, that this oath meant we were willing to give our life for the person next to us, for our families back home, for fellow citizens that we've never met, for ideas written on 4 pages of parchment that establish the government of our nation, a nation where we all have a voice, a nation where all of us are created equal with fundamental rights and privileges. So how do we honor them? How do we truly honor them with action? I offer this. Reread the Constitution in its 27 amendments. By knowing what our founding leaders designed as our government, the subsequent Bill of Rights and additional amendments, we may better understand why we fight to protect them. They gave their lives for this. Are we doing our part? Lastly, I offer one more way to honor them. Invite someone to honor and remember with you next year. In my opinion, time is the most valuable thing we have, and we decide how it is used. Just as you have given your time today, ask one more person to do this next year. If they can't make it to this particular ceremony, provide them options on how they can participate. Planting flags, cleaning around a memorial, or simply taking that moment of silence at 3 p.m. on Memorial Day. Remember and honor.
Thank you very much, Bob, for your service to our country and your continued commitment to our veterans community. I'd like to bring to attention to the veterans that are here today that if you have a service-connected disability rating, you may be eligible for benefits, to include property tax exemptions that do not stop with the veteran but may continue with surviving spouses. With the assistance of the Walpole Assessor's Office and the DVS, we can determine your property tax exemptions. Feel free to call or to stop by my office if you have any questions. If you're a veteran out here and not signed up for the VA healthcare system, I really encourage you to do so. I myself have been utilizing the VA healthcare system for a number of years, and I also have private healthcare, so you can't have both. People don't know that, but you can't have both. I actually do use them both. For me, I really believe that Massachusetts has some of the best VA facilities around. The service is top-notch. I can vouch for that myself. I've utilized the Jamaica Plain facility for the past 10 years or more. If you know a veteran, please encourage them to go to VA hospital and sign up. We now have a reading from Donna Summer. Donna Summer, she's an Army veteran and committee service member.
To me, it is a good poem for Memorial Day. It is just touched my heart. It's called The Fallen by Duncan Campbell Scott. Those we have loved the dearest, the bravest and the best, are summoned from the battle to their eternal rest. There they endure the silence, here we endure the pain. He that bestows the valor, valor resumes again. O Master of all being, donor of day and night, of passion and of beauty, of sorrow and delight. Thou gavest them the full treasure of that heroic blend, the pride, the faith, the courage that holdeth to the end. Thou gavest us the knowledge wherein thou memories stir. Master of life, we thank thee that they were what they were. I would like to just say one more thing. I have just found out today that a dear friend of mine, Bob Moody, who has read off the names of our fallen for many years at this podium. He was a World War II vet, an Army veteran, who served his country very proudly and loved these services. 2017, I believe, or it was 18, was his last time he read the names off. And I asked Bob, I said, Bob, he was 97 at the time. I said, Bob, how long are you going to do this? And he says, until I am one of those names. Well, he had to go into assisted living, which broke his heart. And then the coronavirus hit, and we were unable to see him this year. We were not allowed in. So I was really excited at the fact that I would be able to see him, and I am very, very sad at this day, but I know he's up there looking down at us, knowing that we're all thinking of him. Bob, I will miss you dearly. This is a selfie that I keep in my car because I'm always thinking of Bob. He was a funny, just unselfish man to boot. And he always wore his uniform to the ceremony till the last day. And I would just like you to take a quick look at this because that is Bob. Yep, and that is how I will remember our Bob Moody. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Donna. As tradition, we will now read the names of all the veterans that we have lost since Memorial Day last year. Here to do the reading is World War II veteran and DFA Chapter 90 member Henry Scazio, and Army veteran and Veterans Committee service member John Robinson.
Good afternoon. My name is Henry Scazio. I just want to mention quickly, Donna mentioned that Bob Moody passed away last night. For a moment, can we just have a moment of silence in his memory? Thank you. I go first?
Yes.
Henry Fitzgerald, peacetime.
Joseph Grillo, peacetime.
Edward Niederman, Korea.
Richard McGrain, Korea.
James Kilroy, Vietnam.
Richard Gallagher, Vietnam.
Gerard Quinn, World War II.
Frank Wentworth, peacetime.
John Rebertoli, peacetime.
Frank Brown, World War II.
Francis O'Keefe, peacetime.
Walter Smith, Vietnam.
William O'Donnell, peacetime.
Andrew Ulton, Korea.
James Lynch, peacetime.
Frank Stankovicius. Peacetime.
Pelletier Jr., Paul, Korea.
Cornelius Murphy, Vietnam.
Reef II, World War II.
Robert Doucette, peacetime.
Paul Sweeney, Vietnam.
John Kavanaugh, Vietnam.
Armstrong Jr., James, Korea.
And Robert McDermott, World War II. May they rest in peace.
Firing detail, salute the dead. We now have the laying of the Reef by Lorraine Gordon and President Gisette Wall. And now we'll have back to the podium Janine Gagney to sing America the Beautiful.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains, majesties. Above the fruited plain, America, America, God shed His grace on thee.
As we get ready to close, I'd like to remind people that after this benediction to stay. There will be a couple other things that will happen. It won't take much of your time. And for those that don't know, when we read the names of those that have passed, we do this every Memorial Day and every Veteran Day. And in between those two memorials are the individuals that have passed on since then. Now, those names are just names of individuals that are from Walpole, Massachusetts, which is a testimony to how Walpole has answered the call time and time again. And it amazes me that the list is never short. That's just this town. So in between each day, Memorial Day and Veterans Day throughout this country, the number is going to be phenomenal, considering that only 1% of the people have served. And that's a reminder that I do not apologize for being emotional. May God grant us today a peace that goes beyond anything that would tear us apart and bring us to a place of forgiveness where needed, understanding of each other, common good, and true and deep gratitude for the sacrifices that have given us the chance to truly live in freedom and justice for all. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, David, for that heartfelt closing. I would, first off, I would like to let everyone know that the JWCW, the Junior Women's Club of Walpole, has 2 tables covered with refreshments over here. So please stop over, reconnect with your neighbors, and enjoy all of the refreshments. I would like to call Jennifer Healey from the club to the podium. So the Junior Women's Club of Walpole has been a great supporter of the Walpole Veteran Services Committee for many, many years. Through all of their fundraising, they've elected our committee to be the beneficiary consecutively, and we cannot thank them enough. Would you like to say a few words?
Sure. I wasn't planning on this, so just thank you very much. As Rita said, we've chosen the Walpole Veterans Association a number of times to be a beneficiary of a lot of our different fundraisers. So we had done one back in November. It was our very first virtual fundraiser that we tried to do during COVID, and I'm happy to say it was success. Sorry, folks. And I'm happy to present you with a check for $2,300 for the Veterans Association. So I know you'll do great things with it. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Just a phenomenal team of women. The committee has a number of projects on the agenda. Hopefully soon you'll be hearing about the Hometown Heroes Banner program. So stay tuned for that. At this time, I would like to call up John Cogan to the podium. I have notes. I don't really need notes. So, John, we couldn't allow you to just sneak out the back door under the cloak of COVID without properly acknowledging you and thanking you for your 10 years of dedicated service. John has served the veterans of Walpole, the veterans of Medfield, the families of those veterans, and veterans both past and present so well for 10 years. He's also served the town through orchestrating Memorial Day and Veterans Day and Walpole Day and the flag swap, and I'm sure there are a plethora of other tasks and responsibilities that he has taken on. So as a committee, we tried to come up with a gift that would be personal to you, something that would truly speak to who you are. So we thought about your typical retirement gifts. We thought about a watch. We thought about some type of a coat embroidered with something speaking to your years. We thought about a Fitbit, but you don't look like you need a Fitbit. So then we spoke about his passion for hiking and mountain climbing, and I know John and I have shared some of our own experiences. So with that being said, and I'm fumbling with all the paperwork here. With our humble appreciation and respect for all that you have done for this town and always putting the veteran first, we would like to present you with this compass, and we trust that it will guide you on your future journeys, whatever they may be, and wherever they may take you, and we thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Yes, you do.
I'll be really quick, but it truly was an honor serving as a veterans agent here the last 10 years. The veterans that I met, and I can't help but to remember, especially the ones that aren't with us here today. From serving this in my country for our country for 20 years, and then buying a house here in Walpole, we were truly welcomed into the community, and it felt just like I just went from one base to another, which was basically Walpole base. And this community has been nothing but outstanding, and I wish nothing but the best for Mark going forward. And thank you all for coming. This is beautiful. Thank you.
Okay. Yep. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Rita. Thank you, more importantly, John, for your service here for the last 10 years. And I'd like to say that concludes our observance for today. And I'd like to thank everyone for coming out today. Thank everyone that made this event possible. Because without the members here, it's been hard to put this event together. From members of the Walpole High School Band, the National Guard, 26th Maneuver Enhancement Brigade, John Neffel Simeon, who come here every year. I'd also like to thank the Police and Honor Guard Fire Department, Police and Honor Guard Fire Department for their show of support. It is really appreciated. The Walpole Recreation Department and the DPW for getting this area ready, because it looks beautiful. The VFW Post 5188 and the VFW Post 5188 Auxiliary, the Girl and Boy Scouts, the DAV Chapter 90, and once again, the JWCW. I'd like to also thank the veterans, the Walpole Veterans Committee, who volunteered their time and dedication to support veterans in this area. Rita Minskow, David Ferreira, Donna Summers, John Robinson, Steve Kenny, Rich McCarthy, and Lorraine Boyden. Once again, thank you everyone for coming out, and that concludes the ceremony.